In late October, the eyes of the golfing world will be on Heretaunga. The Royal Wellington Golf Club will host the prestigious Asia-Pacific Amateur Championship, with 12 hours of live coverage beamed into 164 countries around the globe. When the Royal and Ancient and Augusta National selected Royal Wellington as the prestigious event's ninth host, a large amount of responsibility lay at the feet of course superintendent John Spraggs to show off New Zealand to the world. So, before John prepares the Heretaunga course for October's Asia-Pacific Amateur Championship, he set off on a pilgrimage to the hallowed fairways of Augusta National. There, in one of the most iconic sporting arenas in the world, he enjoyed a fortnight readying the hallowed Georgian grounds for the Masters.
We've all heard about Augusta, but it's something you can't describe. I can't put words to what it was like. There are 144 of us as volunteers joining the permanent crew of many. We were working 5 a.m. through till 9 p.m. We were following the mowers pretty much and ensuring that there was not a clipping left on any turf surface. Everything was pole whipped, which is a big fiberglass pole that you just walk around behind the mowers, just dispersing clippings and picking up debris. The grass, it's just so dense and there's so much of it and it's just cut beautifully. I remember my first thought in walking through the gate and walking out onto the range at Augusta was, gee, is this real? You just can't find a fault with it. Everything inside the ropes is spotless. For 5 hours each day, I was stationed on hole 16. How I got hole 16, I'll never know. I think I must have got lucky. Yeah, just a great place to be stationed, and through the practice rounds to see the pros having fun there and skipping it across the water. I didn't want to take my breaks. I generally didn't take my breaks. I stayed at 16 or walked on up to 7 green or back to 15 green to have a look at the golf there as well. It's just an incredible place.
John's Masters apprenticeship was a chance to upskill himself and learn the standards expected from Augusta National ahead of hosting the Asia-Pacific Amateur Championship.
It's more about how focused you have to be on perfection and what the expectation is. We're not going to get within a percentage of where Augusta gets to, but Augusta's known for Augusta, and people that have been there come away with Augusta eyes and the Augusta syndrome, I guess, at the end of it. It's just something that you dream about. You know, I've been in this industry close on 40 years and I've never experienced anything like that. It was, yeah, very pleasing to be able to see what manpower can do. And that's all it is, it's different. They mow the grasses much the same way as we do. By world standards, we do it very well with very limited resources at times. It's a question that you know, you daren't ask at Augusta, what the finances are about or how's it funded or anything like that. So it's, yeah, that's just the Augusta way.
Having left the Georgian spring behind and returned to Wellington's infamous winter, John is now ramping up preparations for tournament week. There he'll hand over the reins to Augusta National and the Royal and Ancient.
Augusta National have been here on 2 or 3 visits. And they haven't wanted to change anything, which is neat. As far as the setup goes, the RNA has the responsibility for daily setup of the course, so they'll tell us how they want it, where they want it, and what tees they're going to play from. So we're just trying to develop some growing plans of the grasses, so as we're in the best shape possible, so we can give them a blank canvas and they can decide what they want to do with it from there.
The storied Heretaunga course hadn't hosted a major tournament since 1995. So 7 years ago, when the club laid out plans to remodel the grand old layout, they ensured the redesign, undertaken by Greg Turner and Scott McPherson, had elite championship golf in mind.
Part of the brief when we came to Royal Wellington was they wanted a championship course. They wanted a great members course, but they did want the championship aspect to it. And you know, Asia Pacific is a huge event. You know, it's going to be televised all around the world. You know, I think it's as big a golf event as we've ever had in New Zealand. It'll be really interesting to see how they handle it. They played the New Zealand Amateur there the end of last year, same sort of dates. So a lot of our top players have played it under in that competitive environment. You don't have to tweak it at all, really. Off the back tees, it's got the length. Seldom is there not a little bit of breeze up the Hutt Valley. It's tight enough. The greens now are pretty undulating, and if they're firm, then it'll be a really strong challenge. It was always meant to be from the championship tees a challenge, and I think they'll find that there's no pushover.
And Royal Wellington needs to lay down a stringent challenge to those rising stars contesting the Asia Pacific Amateur. The winner will earn an invite to next year's Masters and for the first time in the tournament's history, book a place in the Open Championship at Carnoustie.
Well, look, I mean, to get in the Masters, I mean, how extraordinary is that? And, you know, it was something that I never achieved in my career. So, you know, to be in an amateur event that gets you entry to Augusta, you know, that would be a carrot enough for anybody.
John Spraggs will have two hats on during the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. Not only is he course superintendent, but he is also New Zealand Golf's convener of selectors, and he believes his young chargers will have home advantage as they negotiate the capital's notorious wind, the likes of which many Asian golfers won't have encountered before.
Wellington at its best. Here comes the breeze. This is where the test is going to be around Royal Wellington in October for the Asian Amateur. The wind up at this place can be pretty fickle. In October is our windy month. So the players are going to have to watch what quarter the wind is coming from, and it's going to change on them all the time. So the wind in the last 2 minutes has changed from south to north, and it's heading back to west again now. Well, certainly hoping that the New Zealanders have a big advantage playing at home. The New Zealanders, and dare I say it, the Australians, could cope with New Zealand's weather better than some of the Asian lads.
And John will be hoping a New Zealand amateur can master the conditions, the course and the opposition to book themselves a dream week at Augusta National, just like he experienced.
What a game changer for them. You know, we're going to have 10 New Zealand amateurs in the field. The opportunity for the winner to get into the Masters and into the Open, wow, that's massive. Opportunities are incredible.
For John's team of greenkeepers at Royal Wellington, they'll also be primed to put in their best ever performance during Asia Pacific Amateur Week.
My team, they're really looking forward to it. They'll be running on adrenaline at the end of it. Exciting, very exciting. And yeah, we're all looking forward to getting stuck in and showing off Wellington, showing off Royal Wellington, and yeah, showing the world what New Zealand golf is.
Catch Holden Golf World Thursdays and Saturdays.